In this section, we're taking a closer look at the ports and terminals on the Canon R5C. So let's just get started. One of the nice things about the Canon R5C is the addition of a timecode port. Now, if you never used timecode before or not familiar with the term, then timecode is a media synchronization system for synchronizing media files, whether that being signals sent from a camera or an audio recorder. Now, say for instance you're on a multicam shoot and you have an A cam and your B cam and also a separate audio recorder. Well, you can send a signal between these three devices that makes it real easy to lock the time of day to your video or an audio files. And when you bring those files back into post, you can really easily sync them up via timecode. So it's really nice to see that Canon has included this feature on the Canon R5C. And the next port we want to look at is the inclusion of the HDMI port. Now, this was a bit of a bummer to see that Canon has only included a micro HDMI port. So why do I find this to be a problem? Well, take a look at this cable. This cable has a full-sized HDMI and a micro-sized HDMI. In essence, they both deliver the same signal, whether it's big or small. That is not the problem. The problem is actually the size of the contacts and the contact points. In my opinion, the smaller the contacts, the bigger the problems. I was on a professional shoot and I was recording to an external monitor and my camera had a micro-sized HDMI output. Now the problem came when I by accident bumped into the camera and that caused the terminal to drop frames. Now obviously that shot was ruined, but that is the problem with micro-sized HDMI contacts because the connection is so tiny. Now, is it a bigger of a problem on the Canon R5C? I would say no, because that camera records a really wonderful codecs internally in the camera, so you don't really need an external recorder. But is it annoying? Yes, it is. It is annoying losing frames when you're on a shoot. But for me, it is not a deal breaker, but it is something to be aware of. The next port we're going to take a look at is the inclusion of the USB-C port. This port can be used for powering, charging, and communication from the camera. Now, something to be aware of is if you want to record any resolution over 8K 30 frames a second, you will need to use some kind of external power source. Now, this can be a power bank or a V-mount battery, and that is where this USB-C port will come in really handy. Next to the HDMI port, we find a headphone output terminal. Now, that goes without saying, it is for plugging into your headphones. And this is very important so we can monitor our sound when recording. But the more exciting terminal is the one we will find opposite of it, and that is the mic input terminal. Now, why am I so excited about that one? Well, the 3.5mm jack actually gives us a lot of flexibility when recording our audio. If some of you remember going back to the days of the Canon 5D, now that was a real revolution in shooting full frame video, but recording audio was a real hassle. Now on a Canon R5C, Canon is giving us a second option for recording audio, and just give me a moment and I will explain. Now, a 3.5mm jack can accept any kind of microphone, whether being your Sennheiser or your Rode that has a 3.5mm jack. But it can also accept what I think is a very exceptional and very good and high quality wireless audio very easily on the camera, and it doesn't take up very much space. And that is the Rode Wireless Go. It is very easy to set up and very easy to plug into the camera. So the Rode Wireless Go has been a real nice investment for me. You can see here how small of a space it takes up in the camera. I mean, it's nothing at all. And it also comes in packs of 1 and packs of 2. Now, I have both of them. I have a receiver and a transmitter, but you can also get a set where you get 1 receiver and 2 transmitters, and this is great for miking up your talent or your character when you're doing a documentary shoot. And on the unit itself, it has a built-in microphone. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this. It's only when I'm in a bit of a hurry and you can clip it on like this, but as you will see, it just dangling off my shirt and it looks kind of dumb. But if you're in a hurry, it is okay. There have been times I have just used the clip to just clip it into a person's rucksack, for instance, if they're wearing something with straps or something like that, so it looks more natural. But what I prefer to do, and what I have found is a really nice solution as well, because this is so small, on top of here we can find another 3.5mm jack, and with a lapel mic from Rode, you can just plug it in like this, and you can set your lapel mic like so, and obviously you want to hide this little cable, and all of a sudden you have high quality wireless audio going into your Canon R5C system. Now this is really nice, and this is why I'm thinking that Canon is giving us a lot of flexibility with this port, because you can either use a high quality mic for recording high quality scratch audio, but you can also plug in something like this, like the Rode Wireless Go or the DJI Mic 2, for instance. So it's really nice that Canon is giving us this option. The next thing we want to look at is not so much a terminal or a port, but it is a fan. On the Canon R5C, Canon has included a fan to cool down the camera. The camera processes a lot of data especially in 8K RAW. And we can all remember the disastrous, sorry to say so, Canon, on the R5, which overheated like crazy. Now, overheating actually shuts down the camera and prevents any recording at all, which is really annoying. But on the Canon R5C, they have remedied this problem by including the fan. Now, this does make the camera a little bit beefier and a little bit chunkier, but it is worth it, because there is nothing worse than being on a shoot and a camera shuts down on you.